before he got into the office, he was just been waiting. He had all the executive orders just listed and waiting to just go. But let's go back to Donald Trump, 47th president of the United States, inaugurated finally. And from his inauguration day, it almost feels like you can tell crystal clear what his foreign policies are, what his domestic policies are, what is every policy. It just feels like you can almost tell. If you ask any question as to what do you think Donald Trump's vision and whatever it is, you can almost tell based on what he said, based on what he's doing, and we'll get to see if, his action will match eventually all that he has said.
Exactly.
But what do you think this would mean? General, we'll get your opinion on him now that he's coming and all of the orders that he's put in place. What's in it for Nigeria and Africa? A man was advising our president to tread carefully with Donald Trump because you don't want to get on this,
I think that advice was out of place. I watched the interview with Professor Kiyemi.
Yes.
I think he's somebody who probably does not like Donald Trump, almost to the point of hating him, despising him.
Maybe because he referred to him as a bully?
No, I watched the interview on channels, really. I mean, he thought to shred the man's speech, something he just talked about being very clear on purpose and policies. He described his inaugural speech as the worst he has ever listened to in the history of America.
Yeah.
He had nothing good to say about Donald Trump. So somebody asked him about, just as you asked me now, what is the need for Nigeria and Africa? And he now said that we shouldn't be confrontation. And I'm like, Nigeria is not an enemy country to America. Nigeria is a very friendly country to America. Nigeria is not Iran. Nigeria is not Assad, Syria. Nigeria is not North Korea. So that advice is completely misplaced. I mean, sometimes when you say that kind of things, you begin to oversay it and it becomes a little bit irrelevant. It's okay, would Tinubu go and insult Donald Trump? Or I don't understand. What will bring confrontation? I mean, Nigeria is not a particular...
I can't even think of any country that we've had any need to even give a warning
to Nigeria, or we give warning to.
Yeah.
The closest we came to that was this Nigeria, Buhari. So otherwise, I don't see but there's no basis for that. America is a major trading partner with Nigeria, major development partner with Nigeria. Their agencies, their non-governmental organizations are fully active in Nigeria. We are very friendly. We are very, very friendly. In fact, we have no problem at all. We are almost like a pro-Western country. So that was for me, I don't know what the man was really talking about. But that said, I will still come back to the issue of what is it for us as Africans and specifically as Nigerians. Now, Donald Trump as a man, you must understand that Trump is an American dream come true. A man who rose from the business world to showbiz and found his way in the White House without being in any political office that was lower than that of the President of the United States of America. And he's been there twice now. So it tells you in America anything is possible. If you dream it, you can attain it. So it's an American dream come true. Now, you see, right from 2016, I've always understood Trump, and I've always known that Trump is what America needs at this time. And I think I was one of the few African, Nigerian, and probably Muslim writers or commentators or those that have, platform in the public space to have said, if I were an American in 2016, if I were an American, I will be Republican and I'll vote for Trump. It's as simple as that. His message is very clear. It is putting his country first. And it is because I know that for any country to succeed and develop in this world, you need a Trump that is ready to put that country first. And I said there was nothing wrong with that. Every other country should do same. And as a matter of fact, every country in the world today that you know that has developed or that is developing rapidly has had a sequence of Trump kind of leadership that has put that country first at all times. So if you look at all of the policies Trump is trying to bring to bear now, these policies are already in place in countries like China. In China, I can't imagine having an undocumented immigrant in China. I can't imagine having one, just a single one. I can't imagine.
People who will come.
I can't imagine. So if there's anyone you know, the Chinese authority will not for an election to purge. You can't even, a fly can't enter China without being detected. A fly can't fly across the border. I can't imagine that an undocumented immigrant in Saudi Arabia. Look, these are countries that are serious with their national security, their borders, and issues concerning citizenship. I can't easily imagine an undocumented immigrant, say in Russia, or in North Korea. I mean, but Western countries are a bit should I say, liberal towards immigration for humanitarian reasons. But not to a point where it becomes unsustainable. Because what I've discovered over time is that the fact that the West provides a haven for immigrants, both legal and illegal, the rest of the world, I mean the usual suspects, where some of these immigrants come from? Africa, South America, and some parts of Asia, particularly Western Asia and some parts of the Middle East. We sit in our own countries, we can't develop it, we use tribalism, ethnicity, the sectarian crisis to destroy our countries. Because we know that we have America and the West to go to. And I've looked at the West. If the West have been peopled by the kind of people that are coming out of other parts of the world to come and join them there, they won't be what they are, and there will be nowhere to go to. So I also saw that it was no longer sustainable for them. So it's quite understandable when a lot of Western countries are trying to say, let us even recover first.
Yeah.
Let us rebuild. Let us have a sustainable form of immigration that will not come and disrupt our lives. Perfectly know that it is their right to do so.
Particularly if they're having a lot of people who are using infrastructure that
America's case is even more pathetic. You see, this is their policy of you are born in America, automatically makes you a citizen. When the founding fathers of America crafted that section of their constitution, I think the 14th Amendment, they did not know that the country like Nigeria was going to exist sometime later. Where every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
But we're not the worst of Dr. Majeed. I think their biggest threat comes from their neighbors around there.
They didn't know that there will be such a country like Nigeria where everybody who has enough savings will simply ferry their spouses to America to give birth because it is a get the blue passport and then turn to Nigeria and live normal lives as Nigerians while benefiting from American resources. I think it's unfair. It is unfair. Yes, it is allowed. You are allowed to be a citizen if indeed you are willing, on one hand, to move there and stay there permanently and become part of them, like everybody else has done, or circumstances make you move. I'm not against immigration in its entirety. I'm saying this kind of exploitative, this kind of parasitic kind of immigration is beginning to wear the West out, and I don't blame them when they're taking actions like this. What has happened is this: in Washington, those who have been in charge of Washington have been establishment politicians and figures, technocrats, politicians, who have been used to a system. It's called the deep state in America. The deep state is not a derogatory word. It's not an expression that means anything wrong. It simply means their bureaucracy. The bureaucracy stands for certain values that needs to be retweaked now. One of the values is, some level of liberalism. America is a country of immigrants, so we must allow immigrants to come in and all that. Yeah. Fine. So policies, programs of government kind of tend to accommodate. But I'm saying, there comes a time when you need to sit down and have some adjustment, and that time is now. So Trump represents that opinion, that tendency in America that knows that it is time to put a hold on some of these things to recover America. And he's doing does that, and I fully support him. I will do the same for my country. If there's any country that needs to really, really define who is a citizen of Nigeria and who is not, I think it is Nigeria. Anybody can be Nigerian now. It doesn't take anything. Anyway, those of us that are actually Nigerian citizens, of what special benefit do we really have? So,
but anybody cannot just be in Nigeria here. Maybe it's easy for people to filter in, blend in, and because we have poor documentation here.
We don't have a nation. You see, when you don't have a nation, it's like a household, for instance. If you have a well-protected household, gated environment, you know everybody that comes in and everybody that goes out because you are very bonded. I mean, you know everybody, you can come from anybody. When a friend comes visiting, you know. When a relative comes visiting, you know. That person, they have to call first, start the gate, process their entry, and say, okay, now I'm expecting you, I'll call, let him come in. That is legal immigrant. But how would you feel, for example, if you come in and just see 2-3 people living in your house, you don't know where they are from, the scale difference, probably true, the friends are coming, and they're eating part of you budgeted 1 bag of rice for 6 months, but it goes down in 3 months because extra amounts are feeding them and all of that. Now, you will not be happy. So you want to clean that up.
Yeah.
Now, in the case of Nigeria, it is that it will not. We have a house and not a household. We have a home, a house that is not a home. So we have, it's like not having a family, but having a group of people living together as relatives, but they're not a family. So because of that, anybody comes in and comes out at the behest of any member of the family. So the father family will come in and look. So for as long as he has fixed his own part of the compound, he has his own kitchen in his own section of the kitchen, which is also really allowed. He takes care of himself. So the rest of you can bring your friends, your relatives, your girl, everybody can come and live. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Nobody is interested in knowing who is who. That's how Nigeria is. And I'm saying we should learn a thing or two from what Trump is doing. So look, how can we actually fix our own country so that it is well managed, well integrated, and there's a clear distinction between who's a citizen and who's not a citizen. Although we are a long way from there anyway, but this is how to build a nation. Now, if you look at Trump's policies, all of it, every country, every nation should have such policy. If every nation needs a Trump, if you ask me. Look at his policy on energy. That is the most fantastic one for me.
Baby drill.
Oh my God.
I mean, first off, it's a very controversial individual because of the Paris Climate Agreement. Because he's saying, we are going to drill, we're going back to fossil fuel.
At the peak of the Russia-Ukraine war, when they disrupted supply chains and energy products and services globally, particularly in Europe, Germany, Britain, and Co. started their coal-fired power plants. Let us drop this pretense about environment. The man has a problem in his country. He has identified two things.
But global warming is real, Dr. Majeed.
Okay. Thank you. He has identified two things as responsible for.
It is real.
For inflation in this country. Two things. He said overspending by the previous administration, which is true. I told America is one of the few countries that can actually spend and create demand pull inflation. America is one of the few countries. Nigeria can never, not in this generation. But how he also said escalating energy prices is equally responsible. Meaning, while you can solve the other one by tweaking with interest rates, you can raise and reduce, fine. He said energy, in fact, he was so particular about energy cost. He's going to bring down the cost of energy. And today, he was going to do two things. Now, when you talk about baby drill, it was like, we have energy resources at home, we have crude oil at home, but because of environmental concerns, we cannot do certain levels of drilling. But now I'm suspending all of those, so we can drill and have availability. We have adequate supply to the market, it is a tendency to bring down the price. Fine. Secondly, he talked about subsidy. How did he talk about subsidy? Trump said he was going to fill up their strategic petroleum reserve to the brim. Now, for some time now, they've not been stockpiling products in their strategic petroleum reserve, so it has gone down a bit. Meaning the effectiveness of that arrangement to intervene in pricing sometimes it's not very effective because they don't have enough.
To that, is that what he implied by saying that? Because I was just trying to think of.
He's going to fill it to the brim.
Okay.
Now, what is the strategic petroleum reserve in the first place? The strategic petroleum reserve is an arrangement by the American government to buy crude, as well as refined product, and store them in underground storage facilities in millions of liters and barrels. And what is the use of this strategic petroleum reserve? To modulate market prices. Whenever energy seems to rise by a combination of market forces to a level where it's going to hurt the economy, create inflation, the American government will use the strategic petroleum reserve as an instrument of intervention. And what would they do? By executive order from the presidency, they will release products from the strategic petroleum reserve to refiners at prices that are less than the market price, so that the price of the product at the pump will be reduced. That is their own way of intervention. And when it is very drastic that they cannot wait for refiners to refine, they bring out direct products and supply the market. Because government has a responsibility of what? Energy security. So they will sell it at below the market price. That is one way they subsidize energy in America. Among other measures that he's going to adopt, tax cut, tax breaks, so many other things. But this is one practical way that they do. And he's going to bring down the price. When an American president tells you, the president of the headquarters of the capitalism tells you, I'm going to bring down the price of energy, it means he wants to intervene. If he's going to wait for the market forces to bring it down, he won't say, I'll bring it down. Now, our president is not talking about bringing down energy prices in Nigeria. He can't say that because he has already deregulated the market. So in America, the lesson here is energy is not as deregulated as we imagine. It is regulated by government through various means, one of which is the strategic petroleum reserves. That is a thinking president who knows that energy cost is injurious to the economy. He's going to bring it down. Now, talking about tax cuts, Trump said he's going to cut taxes across the board. That has always been his policy. And that is the policy of the Republican Party anyway. And now told us that
more news and
let's run for this quick break. We'll take it after the break. Stay with us.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts.
And I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
Talk news and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
It is the midweek special with Majeed Dahiru. We call him Doctor every Wednesday. Deserves it as we look at some of the big stories. And we started off talking about Beatrice Ekweremadu, who has been released from prison and confirmed to be in the federal capital back in Nigeria at the moment. And we're focusing this time around on Donald Trump and understanding his policy direction. He's less than 48 hours or there, or 72 hours in government, and already the world is already talking about his policy direction.
Effective leadership. His cabinet is already in place.
Indeed.
They have been screened at the Senate. They've confirmed the Secretary of State. He has hit the ground.
Running.
Is he running? Dashing. So, talking about tax, he's not going to cut taxes. And he's now going to replace what you and I know in Nigeria as internal generated revenue taxes. You know, I've always talked about that issue. That you don't create wealth through internal generated revenue. There is such a thing called externally generated revenue. For Nigeria, I've always suggested through trade and investment. Trump himself appears to have adopted that phrase when he said he's going to tax others and levy tariffs on other countries to enrich his citizens. And he's going to set up an external revenue service. External revenue. That is, Trump is looking to generate revenue from outside, not from taxes from his citizens. How he's going to do that through taxing other people and through tariffs is another thing that I'm sure the devil will be in the details. But for me, I've always known that countries like China, countries like Saudi Arabia, countries like Russia, most of European countries have always relied more on externally generated revenue through overseas investment and trade. How do I mean? In Saudi, for example, you don't pay, as a citizen, you don't pay company income tax, you don't pay personal income tax, you don't pay that. You don't pay any form of tax except VAT. Have you actually introduced a few years ago? You know why? Because they have a company called Saudi Aramco that supplies energy goods and services, products and services globally, and it is owned by the state. So for every $1 billion Saudi Aramco makes, it comes to the state. So the state uses that to provide social security services and other forms of obligations to citizens. Without citizens having to pay for it. So when you buy petrol from the refinery in Texas that belongs to Saudi Aramco, you are already paying, you are helping the Saudis to take out the problems by that external generation of revenue. If you look at the Chinese model too, almost all of Chinese companies you see operating anywhere in the world belong to the state. So for each time you patronize any Chinese goods and services anywhere, including the construction companies, you are simply paying to the commons of the state. So China has generated so much from external sources into their coffers. Now, America do not necessarily have too many of state-owned enterprises because they've run a very capitalist
system.
So in place of that, maybe for Trump, why he doesn't want to go into having state-owned enterprises established newly and run around everywhere, he's now thinking, because he now knows that there's something also to do about tax for revenue that you need to earn externally. So he's now saying he's going to do it through taxing on other countries, through tariffs and other levies. How he's going to do that, I do not know. But one thing I can say that even the man has validated the concept of externally generated revenue, which I've described as only possible through trade and investment. So I ask you today, look at Nigeria as a country. We are still talking about tax reform bill, how it's going to help us fund that, but I'm like, this will not help Nigeria. What is that entity that Nigeria owns, either as the federal government or as the state government?
But it can help to stabilize things a bit within the country. It might not generate the wealth that you're talking about, but at least bring in something to.
Nigerians are already overpaying tax. You pay pay. I pay pay.
Yeah.
If you own a company, you pay company income tax. You pay that.
Well, technically, you have a company that is not doing above 20 million in terms of your.
For those who are doing now, Nigerians already pay. So that man whose company is doing more than 20 million will pay. We pay that. We pay all sorts of things. We pay money for telephone, pay all sorts of things. What I'm saying is, we need to shift from this model so that companies can breathe. It doesn't mean that we cannot play tax cuts in this country where we can give tax cut to people and say, look, keep your salaries, don't pay tax at this rate anymore, reduce it. So you earn more money and keep it for yourself. So it goes to improve your own life and that of your family. I would say we cannot get there. How about countries where they don't pay tax at all? How are they surviving? They're surviving through overseas trade and investment. Nigeria must adopt that model. If America itself, at this time, is thinking beyond taxes, I'm sure the UK too will soon put on a thinking cap because they are 2 countries that are most affected by this issue. Canada, on the other hand,
Canada is doing the same at this point in time.
because even before now, Canada has a lot of state-owned enterprises that are operating globally. Manitoba is one example. You heard of Manitoba some time ago when we were talking about prioritizing CCN.
They were supposed to come into the generating.
The transmission.
Yeah. Was it transmission or generation?
I think transmission also. I forgot to know.
Oh, transmission.
Transmission, right? Manitoba is owned by the province of Manitoba in Canada.
In Canada, yeah.
It's like a state government in Nigeria owning a company that is coming to Nigeria to go and bid for a transmission network. Meaning that if indeed they are succeeded, every penny they make here goes to, it's their money. So they can now use it to provide subsidized electricity at home. That is what other countries do. So now I'm bringing out all of these elements in Trump's policies that, look, we now need to begin to think. Because, every nation needs a Trump. Nigeria needs its own Trump at this point in time. They can put his country first and do everything to protect it. And why is Trump doing this? America truly is on a decline. You see, the civil servants in America, the bureaucrats, the politicians, for example, someone like Joe Biden has been in public service since 1973, 52 years. They have become boxed in. They have become used to a particular system that has been entrenched by the deep state. They don't know of any other way to do things. So America is a big boy, is a father figure that throws his weight around, is funding WHO, is funding everything. Without looking at, they are drying resources, their continuous deficit financing of the budget.
In short, the economic strength has weakened.
Because we are carrying too much load.
Yeah.
So Trump is from the street. He's been sitting down on it and said, you guys in Washington, you are running this country aground. He's a businessman. Trump understood that he used Chinese steel to build Trump Tower at the expense of Chinese American steel companies because of competitive pricing. And so when he came on board, he knew that China was already a threat to our economy. That was why he actually imposed a heavy tariff on imported steel from China to allow American steel companies to survive. So it takes a business-oriented person who truly has the love of his country at heart to be able to do this. He has come to reset America. He tried to do it the first 4 years, but the system and majority of Americans didn't quite follow his agenda. But after 4 years of Biden, of the usual, of the status quo,
so you think he's going to get less resistance compared to the first one? Because he met stiff resistance.
Beginning from the votes he got, he had more votes even among the Black African American and Hispanic communities. He won in so many states that ordinary Trump wouldn't have won. So it tells you that Americans are ready for Trump. After 4 years in Telenum, they have now realized that there was something about this man that we didn't understand. I remember penning an article about Trump in 2016, and I sent it to a friend who sent it to her in-law in America, who was against Trump. When he finished reading the piece, he said, well, I'm beginning to see Trump in a new light, and so I now support him. I said, yes, from Nigeria, I could see something that you're not seeing in this man in America. Ultimately, what the man seeks to do is to pull the brakes on America's declining economic and security power globally and restore it as a superpower. Not necessarily as an isolationist tendency, but look, it's like cutting your coat according to your cloth and making sure you do the more dirty work to really, really make you buoyant. There is nothing wrong with this. For those who are afraid of, who are criticizing him for his brutal crackdown on illegal, not immigrants, illegal immigrants. No country deserves illegal immigrants. And for those of us who come from countries that are prone to illegal immigrants because of the kind of hellhole we live in, I think this is a challenge. Trump should trigger a new Pan-Africanist thinking in us that will make us as Africans take responsibility for what is wrong with Africa. We need to fix Africa. We need to sit our ass at home and fix Africa. We need to sit here. We need to fix things. Look, you want to go to countries that are already fixed. Trump is saying, there's a limit to which I can accommodate some of you. So sit back at home. Sit here. Let us fix this country. Let us look at America.
Make your own country work at least.
Let us look at America. What has made America great? Unity in diversity. Unity in diversity. Where everybody is an American once you come in through the legal means. What has made Nigeria the way it is, fundamentally? Disunity and oneness. We're not really a diverse country. I keep making this point. We say diversity, the eyes which appreciate the differences in color. That's diversity. How do you look at a predominantly Negro country like Nigeria and call it a diverse country? Because some people claim to be Igbo, some people claim to be Yoruba, some people claim to be Hausa.
Ethnically diverse.
So you call it plurality. Because we tend to exaggerate our differences, we call it diversity. What's the difference between an Igbo man and a Yoruba man? What's the difference? One calls good, Ewu, the other one calls it Ewure. These are the same people, if you ask me. One calls God Orisha, Olisa. One calls God Orisha. So, yes. One approaches his Orisha through Ifa. One approaches his Olisa through Afa. So, tell me the difference here. One calls cock, akuko. The one calls it.
Dr. Majeed,
tell me the difference.
We get it.
That's the point.
Even down to our skin color, we're the same. I bet the average person will not even know.
Proximate. So, we are essentially one people. We've not just had leadership enough that we rise above those petty lines of divisions. To say we're one people.
Perhaps also how we're constituted, Dr. Majeed, because, I've since realized that our problem is even from the very start, how the colonizers put us together. There's always been that distinct difference, as if we're not just truly harmonized from that point, even when we talk about founding father, but so that we don't digress too much. Because, Dr. Majeed, I know you can get very...
so the point I'm making is, how did America become so great that we all want to go and live there, even illegally, at the risk of our lives? Can we begin to put those building blocks here? Leave Trump alone. He has a responsibility to his country alone.
Well, he's telling his people, I'm going to make sure I cut down cost of living for you. I'm going to cut down inflation, cut down this one. So for the average American, he's thinking that...
Interest rate.
Yes.
Interest rate. That is single digit.
They say reduce it. Anything to cut down...
In your own country, you are increasing it. I mean, you had a president who stood on the podium on election day and announced a policy that shot up energy prices without apology. And we heard that's courageous. Today, have a trouble saying, I'm going to lower energy prices, I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to bring down interest rates. I'm going to bring down this. I'm going to make life better for you. Have you heard Trump talk about any reform that will inflict pain on the Americans and then bring gain
so
later?
Far, so good.
Have you heard anything like that?
Aside from maybe recognizing two gender, that some people who fall into the LGBTQ will feel like... Exactly. But I have really interrogated it. There's not one that you say...
He's instant relief from that yesterday, from 2 days ago that he took over. Instant, as in, he's telling you right now you're going to feel the relief. He has not said anything that says you will suffer today.
But you enjoy it later.
The reform.
I wish there was another way. There's no way, but he didn't say that.
I've not known of any developed country where its leaders will tell the city that they will suffer first before enjoying later. I don't know of any. It's only Nigeria that will be hearing this since 1986. When Biden introduced that, since then, we'll be hearing the same story. It doesn't happen anywhere.
Tighten your belt.
The leader comes in with a solution in hand and solves it immediately. Trump has taken a diametrically opposing stand from what Biden represents ideologically. Now, whether the outcome will be positive along with his intention, it's a different ballgame. But what we are saying is, he said, if I do this, it will make your life better. So I want to do it. So it's not left for us to see in the coming days, weeks, months, if what he's doing now with the policies will now translate to his original intention. But what you can take away today is that this man has come with such an enthusiasm that I want instant relief.
Honestly, Dr. Majeed, I started paying attention extra to him because I was a little bit skeptical upon his return. But, when he set up that committee to say, let's see how we can cut down costs of government spending.
America that is already...
I thought, oh, wow.
America that is already when it comes to financial discipline, America is so frugal that Trump as president, for instance, just like Joe Biden before him, will not earn more than $40,000 plus as consolidated salary. The state will not be responsible for his feeding. State will not be responsible for his clothing, his wardrobe. The state will only fund essential dinner that has state significance. But he wants to do birthday party for his son or for himself or for his wife. They will give him the bill for the kitchen. He will pay for that $400,000. Yes. They are that frugal. In Nigeria, the body $400,000 is what one person would dash, a few friends and say, take for weekend. And so they are not that frugal. Now he wants to cut out certain spendings which may affect spending for overseas interventions.
For example, the World Health Organization is already wondering, think about this, you're withdrawing there because
needs more money
America
for
is the
healthcare
biggest
at
funder.
home. You see,
No, Dr. Majeed, is it about healthcare for them, really? Or Donald Trump is upset with what happened during COVID? Because even from that, he tied it to
He has always
COVID.
talked about the ineffectiveness of WHO and how it didn't help America during pandemic. Because according to him, WHO got early warning signs. They didn't act until the thing enveloped the entire world. So he was angry with them, justifiably so too. And he felt that we were too cozy with China, who was to be blamed for this entire pandemic. Be that as it may. You see, when people in Saudi Arabia hear that Trump wants to pull out WHO, they won't understand what we're talking about. When people in Kuwait, in the Emirates, in Qatar.
But those are big boys now. They're very wealthy
How did they become
countries.
big boys?
They have got oil resources
Hey, we don't care about your country.
with minimal population.
No. Russia is more populated than you.
Oh, well, it's true.
China is more populated than you. And so that's what you do. America is more populated than you. And so the reason, for instance, why these countries will not even know what you're talking about. They won't even understand what you're talking about. Because I'm sure they've never seen the WHO vehicle in their country before. In Saudi, they have public hospitals that are among the best, not just in the world, but they are absolutely free for citizens. Free. They are normal general hospital. Free for citizens. And if you go on pilgrimage too, they can extend that privilege to you. No problem. We know you are coming from. So just come and have this 2 minutes of health fame and go back.
But you need to pay for some sort of insurance cover, don't you?
For citizens?
No. If you're coming as a pilgrim.
No, you pay some minimum.
Because you can't put that much burden on their own.
But you still know that it is still almost, it's next to nothing. It's very easy for you to just pay a little token because you're not a citizen. For citizens, absolutely free. So those ones don't even know that World Health used to come and intervene for your. They're not aware. They don't even know that they've done this one such intervention before. Fix your own system. You will not necessarily need WHO to survive. You might need it to coordinate for disaster zones and some other, maybe during the pandemics, but no. For everyday survival, you don't need them. So Nigeria should go and do what it should do. Talking about population, there are small countries in Africa with very rich oil reserves that are not doing well as those small Gulf countries. Yes, they are plenty. We know them. Yes, Gabon.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not a matter of population. We have a responsible leader. Even if it's just one family he's to preside over, he will wreck them. So we have a problem of leadership deficit in Nigeria. It's something that we need to take care of. So you see a man who is telling you, I'm going to go all out to make my country great again. You shouldn't quarrel with that. What you should be thinking is, how will your own country, where you come from, be made great again? Are you happy with your country? If you're not happy with your country, please don't be unhappy with Donald Trump's dream America.
No, but Dr. Majeed, we still also need to recognize the role that the United States of America play in terms of global politics.
I'm no longer interested in playing it.
But Dr. Majeed,
wait, not my fault.
You cannot be claiming world power and then not be involved in global politics.
I don't want to be world power. I don't want to be involved in any war.
I
don't start any one. I'm no longer interested. Is it my fault? Wait, so
he wants to change the world order just like that. It will take more than one man to change the world order.
Look.
Who will now fill that vacuum?
Why can't Nigeria rise to become a world power?
Dr. Majeed, please, let's be real. Who will fill that vacuum?
Now, this is something we must now understand and look. Whether Trump is able to indeed isolate America or not within the next 4 years, it's something that would naturally come. So this over-dependence, thinking that America is there, or another person is there, we need to stop that now. Because another Trump might emerge in future. Or Trump might continue to emerge after this particular Trump.
Who will think about themselves first?
I don't blame anybody. Look, I don't know why anybody should have a problem with somebody saying America first. For the Chinese leaders, it's China first. China has a zero importation policy. The only imports that are extremely essential into the country. Their zero importation policy is so strong that if you import a bottle of water from China and there's a defect, you want to return, you can't return it. They will cite that no importation policy. That is China first. Simple. If you want China to cut ties with you today, recognize Taiwan. Just go and play with Taiwan. And they will cut ties with you. All the aid that
did we have to force Taiwan out and close the office there just because we wanted to keep our relationship going with
China? All your train station that they're having to build, they will just move away. That is the point. Every nation that you see is their country first for their leaders. In Saudi Arabia, I'm talking about the illegal immigrant. I don't know how you can be an illegal immigrant in Saudi Arabia. Was it not because people went to Saudi from Nigeria in the wrong visa? With the wrong visa.
That they send the plane back, all of them.
To the back of the plane.
Both pilot and all say go back and
first,
do the right thing before coming back.
So.
I remember we were upset then. We wanted to, reciprocate, but we didn't know how.
And I asked you a question. I said, since I was born, and now that I'm old, have you ever seen a Saudi national anywhere in Nigeria physically? I said, I've not
even
seen.
Hustling for contract or lobbying the government to get something.
Even if you go to Saudi Arabia for pilgrimage, you will hardly see Saudi citizens in Saudi Arabia. You hardly see them, even in their own country. Because in their shops and their working places, all these Southwestern Asian countries, maybe Pakistanis, Indians, and co. I don't want money in their shops for them. They are at home sleeping.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Until later in the evening. So even in Saudi, you will hardly come across Saudi citizens. Not talk about Nigeria.
Well, I think it's common in those wealthy Middle Eastern countries.
How did they become wealthy?
Well, how nations become wealthy is another conversation altogether. Well, let's look at some comments quickly. Pascal View says, welcome, Dr. Majeed. Hafsat Mazu says, good afternoon to you in the studio. Claire's Ramnaps, Dr. Majeed, I always listen to you with a pen and paper. We need people of your pedigree in government. Fabian Walkocha, top-notch analysis as always. Dr. Majeed, keep the good work. Well done, sir. Abagu Tefa, good afternoon. I'm listening to you and it's a blessing. Amechi Happiness, Dr. Majeed, sister Kimberly, good afternoon. Mr. Foster calling from Ghana, currently all listing now. Is that an area in Ghana? Oh, saying hi to all the listeners. Salasi Omotai Abubakar from Gwagwalada. Your fan in Ghana is saying hello. Ross City says, super intelligent, versatile guy. Bamaye Emmanuel, good afternoon to you. You're worthy of your appreciation, sir. That's on YouTube. At Nigeria Info Abuja is our YouTube page, and on Facebook at Nigeria Info Abuja also. John Nana says, good day to great lecturers of our time without asking for pay, or lecturers of our time without asking for pay. God bless and continue to bless you, sir. Okay, Ibrahim, who really built this American that Trump is trying to protect? Is it not the immigrants and the slaves? Trump himself was a product of an immigrant because his ancestral lineage comes from Germany. He should be very careful with the way he desecrates other countries and people coming, because he'll end up isolating America from the rest of the world. Americans also need the rest of the world to survive. They can't do it on their own. Jesse Aldo says, every day we wake up to see the government introduce new tax on the people. Which way, Nigeria? Ologun says, I agree, Dr. Majeed, and all the listeners today. It's been a while. Please, what is the face of those of us that are thinking of jack buying? He wants to know what his fate will be. All right, then. You'll get to find out in the coming days from all Trump's policies. Let's hear from you, 0700 951 0000. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello, Oklahoma.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, ma. Dr. Majeed. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Doctor, you are 1 billion. I go straight to you. This man is calling from Niger State.
Go ahead.
To me, I think you see how a leader is supposed to do things. This man just coming, and the whole America now has hope that yes, something is going to change. And something is changing. You understand? From just to male and female gender, he now oppose that this is what we want. And this is how it's supposed to be. The two religions we worship, even in terms of culture and this, they recognize it. You understand? And this is how it's supposed to be. To me, I think other people should learn from this.
All right, sir.
They should learn.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's do 1 minute. We have a lot of people waiting. Hello.
Good afternoon, ma. How are you?
Fine. Good.
Professor, Pastor, Imam in the building. I always listen to you. My name is Mrs. Summers. I don't change name. We know I don't change
my
name.
sister.
Doctor.
Happy New Year.
So, Telecom said they want to increase tariff 50%. Nigerians are saying they will sue them, but they are not happy. Why? Everything tax. today, I keep saying that they are part of this country. Subsidy is gone. And I remember last year, the president told us that inflation will go down. And I called, I said, it's not possible. We don't use prayers or wishes to fix a country. Why? Because we need to put certain things in place. With this subsidy is gone, there's no miracle that one can do for inflation to go down. Today, they are selling a bottle of 70 cl of palm oil, 2,500. Now, I want to ask you, Doctor. These people that are providing services, telephone and the rest, they say they want to increase. The Nigerians are saying no. Are they not paying workers? Are they not buying fear?
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much. Let's hear another caller. Remember, 1 minute, we have so many people waiting. Hello? You're welcome. Welcome.
The only king that is available in Nigeria for now. How are you doing?
Fine and well. Go ahead, sir.
Dr. Majeed, God bless you. I can hear your analysis in the studio, sir.
Absolutely, sir.
Everything I've seen about all these developed nations, they are very, very nice. Like in the past years, they developed their nation through all money that is coming from other nations, that from our nationality. We see through our nose, water, life, everything through our nose. We dare not go to the hospital here because you pay through your nose. We better go send to Nigeria to send our go to us. To send our go to us to go to hospital because the amount of money they are going to charge you, you can't pay it. But the citizens, when they come, they treat them like king. I have some people working in the hospital. If they are citizens come, they are abandoned every other person. They are to them. We don't even see them in Dubai. We don't see the citizens, the Emiratis. We don't see them in Dubai because they live in a separate world.
All right, sir.
These are very, very good for them. Yeah. Lastly, man, please, I want to thank God for Remando. And it should be a lesson to leaders. It should develop Nigeria so that those type of Remando will not
all right.
In the future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor T from Dubai.
Thank you, Pastor TJ from Dubai. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is Mike calling from Michigan.
Mike from Michigan, you're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Majeed. I really appreciate your own opinion about Mr. Trump. As much as he brings about its economic agenda, the other side of him, which is the white supremacist, is what we Africans and we black people fear a lot here. You know, I work with a lot of white supremacists, the prison system. You know, most of them look at other people as zombies. Most of them are talking about the kind of guns, and they talk about zombie apocalypse. When they start talking about this zombie apocalypse, it's about getting rid of other people in their country, which makes it kind of scary to be out here. I am legal here. My family is legal. But what about those white supremacists who are on the streets looking for trouble? And they become bolder. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Hello?
We're listening. Go ahead.
They have become bolder each day. And it is scary for us.
All right.
So this is something we're looking into that's making us a little bit jittery.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that's someone whose reality, he's in the United States.
It's not about racism.
Well,
he agreed on all the demand, know. My dear brother, we have a bigger problem of tribalism in Africa and Nigeria. And there is no part of the world that would respect the black man until Africa develops. Those of the diaspora must realize this. When they watch here, then they see a continent that is in tatters. They see war in Sudan. They see genocide. They see poverty. They see disease. So they know that you are there because...
No, they have war in Europe now.
They have war in America. Okay. So they know that you are here, not because you came in to add value, even though you have value to add. They believe that you are there because you are escaping something that is uncomfortable at home. So the way they would treat a black man in America, they won't treat even an Indian like that anymore. They won't treat a Saudi citizen like that in America. They won't treat a Chinese like that because you know that this was our option.
Dr. Majeed, their racism does not profile the way you're looking
in
at
Africa,
it. Though.
My dear sister.
A Saudi man is seen as an Arab who already automatically, based on even his faith, perceived by some people as a threat.
No. That's a different ball game. You're talking about religion. You're talking about jihadism and disassociated. I'm talking about all that apart. A Saudi man is respected in America more than the black man because Saudi Arabia that he came from is doing better than America. And he's not here because he doesn't have a choice. He's here simply to mingle. I'm saying the black man must correct itself. Okay, you're talking about America and white supremacy. How about South Africa and xenophobia? Just because South Africa is like the most developed black country in Africa. Look at what Nigerians go through there. In the house of fellow blacks.
Africans, actually.
In the house of fellow blacks. You begin to wonder, it was the white man that imposed apartheid on you. How come British citizens are not lynched in South Africa, where the white man came from? How come Dutch citizens are not lynched in South Africa? How come nobody else is lynched except fellow blacks from poor African countries? You see, nobody likes poverty. People feel that it will affect them. I'm not justifying white supremacists here. No. I'm saying, sir, it's a greater challenge for the black man globally. Until Africa develops, nobody will respect the black man anywhere.
But the leader in charge, is this also responsibility to ensure that those hostilities are not amplified?
He has expressed,
now, his fear is that with Donald Trump there, it amplifies that.
He has expressed a fear. He has not said that it has happened. In America, you can be willing to commit a crime, even including to go and warn people, but the state is there to rein you in. He's looking at racism, and I'm saying racism is because the black man himself, where he comes from, has not done well for himself. This is the bitter truth. They will keep looking down on us anywhere we are in this world until Africa develops. Though I'm happy that those in diaspora tend to be interested in our politics here, and they're always very concerned to make sure that we get things right at home. Until Africa develops, the black will not be respected anywhere in the world. I'm sorry, but this is the sad truth.
Wow. All right, let's hear this caller. Hello.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And Dr. Majeed, thank you.
Good afternoon.
Justice of peace. I want to say congratulations to a mother's wife for her freedom. By the grace of God, I think even his village people are jubilating that the hero is back. Thank God for her. For Trump, my sister, you see, all the hitting the ground running, his policies, his comments and all that, it goes to bring joy to Americans. For me, like the genders, like the divorce case and all that, you begin to at least I listened to our president when he hits the ground running. His hitting the ground running was to bring pain. You now see someone who has the interest of his people at heart and not the one of using muscles to create pain to your people and say they should bear it. Tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow that they are not sure of. I want to say congratulations to America. I wish I was America. But now that I'm Nigeria, I'm stuck. I know God will help us.
All right.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you very much. Well, a Nigerian who is an American, there is still worried based on his color because of some rednecks. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
Yeah. My name is Ojo, the next president.
You've got a minute, Ojo, next president.
Thank you. Dr. Majeed, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm happy to hear you this afternoon again. And I'm delighted for tapping from your wealth of knowledge. Donald Trump as a case study, I believe that, for me, Donald Trump believed that American first and then no any other person. And that is how a president of a nation should behave. You should take your citizen first. And on the issue of illegal immigrants, any country that wants to progress must be ready to take care of their borders. I keep on saying on this radio, if America can build a control war between them and Mexico, I don't see no reason why we should not do it in this country.
You have the money.
I believe that one day we too will be proud like a Saudi Arabia one day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, let's go on a quick break. Dorcas is seated for the news. Let's join her.
Shows, new host, new realities, true conversations, trustworthy ideas, shared passionately on your number one talk station of the nation. Nigeria Info 95.1 Abuja. Let's talk.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.